and welcome back to my channel. A while back I was challenged by another YouTuber channel called The Takeaway Boys. Now they challenged me to do a beef Wellington. I've never had one, I've never cooked one. So this is going to be my interpretation, and this is going to be, I say, the most expensive thing I've done to date on my channel. So the ingredients list, which I forgot to write down, but I have the ingredients in front of me. So you need beef fillets. Now I've gone for a small one because beef at the moment is very, very expensive. Now I got it from the butchers, and that's the size of that. And that small piece cost me just over €11. It is a nice slice, it's no fat on it, nothing on, so that's why I'm doing it as a mini rather than the way Gordon Ramsay does huge one. Yeah. And with that you will need Parma ham. Now I couldn't get Parma ham, so I'm going to have to use Serrano. So yeah, my recipe is a little bit different. The recipe said wild mushrooms, and the only wild mushrooms I could get was the shiitake ones, and these were €6. And I've also got normal mushrooms to mix in. You'll need a couple of shallots cut and diced. You'll need olive oil, salt and pepper. You'll also need beef stock, red wine for the red wine sauce. Now I'm not using red wine. I don't like red wine and I don't like it in my cooking really. So I'm going to be using this red wine stock pot instead. Puff pastry. If you saw my video yesterday, I did puff pastry. So I already have my puff pastry. So if you need to know how I did that, have a look back on yesterday's video, which would have been the Australian chili beef pies. So without further ado, let's get cracking. If I do forget anything, just go over this video, because as I said, I forgot to write down the ingredients list down like an idiot. So yeah, but I will be using all the ingredients that you need. So the first thing you're going to do is get your pan on, and you're going to want it really hot, and in that you're going to add a splash of olive oil, and you want this pan extremely hot. So when that's hot enough, I'll bring you back. So now this pan should be hot enough, hopefully. And all you're going to do is sear your beef. And you're going to do it for about 30 seconds to a minute on each part. and then you take that out of the pan. So you're just searing it. Now also back into this pan now, you're going to add a little bit more olive oil. You're also going to add your mushrooms. Now this is how you make the duxelle. Might need a bit more oil in that pan. You're going to add a couple of sprigs of thyme, some salt, and pepper. I did that the wrong way around, but anyway. And you're just going to fry them until it becomes like a paste. You want all the moisture gone from the mushrooms. I'm going to try my pan down a little bit because the shiitake mushrooms were already dried. It's just the other mushrooms were fresh mushrooms. And then you're going to cook these roughly for about 10 minutes. You want them to release all the juice from them. So when this is done, I'll bring you back. Now I also added 1 shallot in that. So I'm just going to wait until the shallot's cooked. And then I'm going to take this out of the pan and I'm going to let it cool down and then we'll cut it up. Or you could blend it. But I'm going to cut it up so it's very, very tiny. So now that is done, we'll go into the next step. and I'll show you what to do. So while we're waiting for the duxelle to cool down, we're going to do our sauce. So in the pan I've got some olive oil, and I'm going to put my seasoning first. So salt, pepper, peppercorns, and shallot. So we're just going to fry this off. Now I'm doing smaller quantities, but obviously that's because I'm only doing a small one. So you want to fry these together. Now I only use one shallot. So we're just going to fry this off. Now of course this is easier for me because I already have my pastry done from yesterday, so we're just going to fry that off. When that's nearly done, I'll bring you back. So as you can see, the shallots are coming along nicely. So the next thing I'm going to do, now you would normally put red wine in now. So I'm just going to add a splash of balsamic vinegar because I do not have red wine vinegar. And then I'm going to add my red wine stock rather than the red wine itself. And we're going to reduce this down and then we'll add our beef stock. And then I'll reduce that down. I'm also going to add some rosemary and a bay leaf. So when that's reduced down, I'll bring you back. Now I'm adding my beef stock in. And we're going to let that cook. And we'll reduce that down as well. The only thing you need to do then for your sauce is when it's reduced down is strain it off so you don't have the rosemary or the shallots or anything in it. You want to clear. You don't want any debris in your stock, or should I say your sauce. Now if you do make too much sauce, you can also let it cool down and put it into an ice cube tray and use it as a stock for stews or whatever. So I'm going to let this reduce and then I'll bring it back. So you can now see the stock has reduced. So I'm going to give this another couple of minutes and then I'm going to strain it into a different pan and then I'll show it you then. And there we go, it's a nice sauce. Now you're supposed to use a muslin cloth, I didn't have one. So I used the old-fashioned tea strainer and that's the stuff that was in it. So I'm going to let that cool down because obviously we haven't done our beef Wellington. But this then can be heated up so it can be made in advance. So the next stage. The next stage is I have some cling film on my table. And onto that. Whoops. Well, as I said, I know I got the wrong ham. It's all I could get. So then we're going to gently place it like so. I'm going to use 3 pieces. Because that should be big enough. And then on that I'm going to spread now I did chop it up by hand. I don't have a blender. So if there's big pieces in it, not much I can do about it. That's the best way I can do it. Now I'm just going to salt and pepper the beef. And then we're going to place that on top like that, and hopefully we should be able to roll it. And I'm losing half my filling. Oh well. And there we have, and we're going to put that into the fridge for half an hour. Now you see I've got my flour out of the fridge. So the next thing we're going to do is just roll our pastry. Now you don't want your pastry too thick. You're kind of doing it so you want a square. So now I'm going to cut my square out. So I'm going to say that's roughly and then you can put the rest away in the fridge, or you can freeze it for another time. So I'm going to put that in the freezer. So as you see, I've took my beef Wellington out, or should I say my beef. I'm going to unwrap this and then I'm going to put it on that. So I now have it on my pastry, so I'm going to roll this up. Oh, bloody hell, some of my ducks all fell out. So now I'm going to gently score. And I have the egg yolk and a little bit of water. And just give that a mix. I'm just going to and I'm going to put that on my baking tray. Whoops. And I'm going to cook that. It says for 15 to 20 minutes, so I'm going to do it the 20 minutes. So my beef Wellington is nearly done, so we're going to gently heat our sauce back up. I'm going to turn it on full and then I'll turn it down. No, I did do it for the full 20 minutes, or I will have done when it goes off. So I'm hoping it's cooked right. We won't know until we cut it open, and that's 10 minutes after, because you want to leave it to rest. So once this is heated up and it's time to cut up the beef Wellington, I will bring you back. So now is the moment of truth. My beef Wellington has rested now for 10 minutes. As you can see, I haven't cut it. Yeah, so let's cut into it and see what it's like. And there is the beef Wellington. Do you think I did it right? I'm going to get some in my bowl with some of the sauce and we'll have a taste test. So that's the beef Wellington that I've done. I'm going to taste it in a second. As I said, this was a challenge set by the Takeaway Boys. So Takeaway Boys, what do you think? What rating would I get? Now, I'm going to try a little bit of everything. I've never had meat that pink before. But I'll tell you something. It's so juicy. It's tender, it's juicy. The flavours on that. I can't see if it's, but that is pink. The sauce is a lovely flavour too. I can't get over that beef. It's so easy to cut. It's so buttery. It's so tender. It's so juicy. Would I have that again? I would. I really, really would. It may be expensive, but you won't need a lot of that. Because it is so rich. Seasoning is perfect for it. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of that. And I'm going to freeze some of that. So, yeah, that's my take on, well, near enough apart from the Parma ham and Serrano ham being different. So, if you like the content, please give it a like, please consider subscribing, click the notification bell for new uploads. Leave a comment in the comment box. And tell me what you thought how you thought I did on the beef Wellington. First time. No one's going to be perfect first time. But I'm happy with how it's turned out. So until the next video, thank you for watching. Until the next one, goodbye.